This bye week gives your Minnesota Vikings the prime opportunity to take a deep look within itself for areas of opportunities to get better, weaknesses, however you want to frame it. And not just identify those weaknesses, but figure out the correct course of action to come up with solutions for those weaknesses. The number one thing, obviously, is the health of the players. The players that have been hurt, that they get better. I'm looking at that offensive line. I can't wait. I'm just envisioning the offensive line, a healthy offensive line, minus Ryan Kelly, but with Blake Brandel at center. So that's including the return of Donovan Jackson and Brian O'Neill. When we'll see that offensive line, I have no idea. But this at least gives them 2 weeks to hopefully get back closer to full strength. And sticking on the topic of health, AVG, hopefully he is ready to go after the bye week to go up against the Philadelphia Eagles. If not, if he needs another week or two to get fully healthy, all right, fine. Dallas Turner filling in for him. I'm good with that. I like how he has developed so far this season. And I want to get to a roster move that I want to see made this bye week, preferably. Or if not, worst case scenario, I'll get to that in just a second. But during this bye week, before they play their next game against Philly, I want the Vikings. I am hoping, praying that the Vikings can trade Jonathan Allen and quick before he has the chance to put up more film showing him doing absolutely nothing. This was supposed to be one of our big signings, and he, half the time, I forget he's even, not even half the time, I forget the whole game that he's even out there until I see a camera angle that says Allen on the back of it. He's done nothing. I'm over it. And if you can't trade him, then bench him for LDR. LDR, in almost 100 fewer snaps compared to Jonathan Allen, has been more productive than Jonathan Allen. With 4 TFLs to Allen's 1, I'm over it. The Vikings are 24th versus the run, and I believe that Jonathan Allen has a large part to do with that. The fact is, LDR does a much better job of getting into the backfield, making plays behind the line of scrimmage. I've seen enough to where I feel confident enough that nothing will change, that Jonathan Allen is a waste of space. He has taken up someone else more deserving of that starting job. Daily fantasy users with Sleeper get a free $20 entry. No deposit required. It's actually free. Plus, first-time users still also receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Terms and conditions do apply. Check out Sleeper today. Obviously, sticking with the bye week, JJ McCarthy, that has to be a topic of discussion first, being with health. So hopefully he's ready to go after this bye week to play the Philadelphia Eagles. And number 2, in addition to health, hopefully he shows some level of progression, some level of improvement, because the clock is ticking. And I talked about this on Purple Parlor. The clock is ticking. That JJ McCarthy is now a season and a quarter into his career. Just about a season and a quarter. Next year is year 3. And that's when you're going to have to start really contemplating the future with or possibly without him. So hopefully he's healthy, ready to go, and hopefully he plays good enough to where, all right, coaching staff, his teammates, the fan base, hopefully the ownership can all sit back and finally take a big old sigh of relief. And specifically going to the offense, the Vikings, KOC, are the second worst team in the league in third down conversion rate. Why? Because you're always playing behind the downs. I've said everything there is to say about KOC's play calling, that at this point, it's like, you know what? Being the second worst team in third down conversion rate, do with that information what you will. My suggestion is that you get somebody else to call plays, or you yourself get better at calling plays. But it's your decision. Do what you will. And for the team as a whole, we got to get back to disciplined football. The Vikings are tied for most penalties per game, just constantly getting in your own way. So you're not having to just defeat your opponent, you're having to defeat your own selves getting in your own way in order to win games. So just to recap, this bye week and coming off the bye week next week, health, specifically with the offensive line, is very important. AVG, that would be a bonus. Trade or bench Jonathan Allen, because he's not cutting it and he hasn't shown you anything worth a damn to suggest that he's going to get better. This is who he is. JJ McCarthy, we need to see him, and not just see him healthy, but make some sort of progression to compared to what we saw from him the first 2 games, or 7 out of the first 8 quarters that he played. A big improvement from there, hopefully. Get back to disciplined football and improve the flow of the offense throughout the course of a 4-quarter game. Work on that, and you'll be a much better team. We'll see you next time.